Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka G33. I'm back here today with another video on the channel, and I'm doing something a little bit different today. We're actually gonna switch it up. We are talking sports. We're talking the NBA. For long, and I'm talking about long-term subscribers of the channel. You guys know back in the day, I used to do a lot of NBA content. A lot of those videos from back day are a little bit cringy now, so you won't find them here on the channel. But I used to do a lot of NBA back in the day, and it's transitioned into more WWE and anime these days. But I do like to mix it up. You guys know I like to talk about different things here on the channel, and I want to talk NBA. I want to talk NBA today, and I do want to gauge you guys. And if you guys do want NBA content and more, other topics, I do want to do these types of videos more often. So let me know in the comment section if you guys enjoyed this and you guys want me to talk more basketball and some other sports outside of just WWE and anime all the time. Let me know. I would love to do it. I love NFL. I love the NBA, and it's I'm almost as knowledgeable in those sports than I am in WWE, to be honest. But just let me know. Let me know if that's something you guys want to see. Leave a like. Leave a comment. Let me know, like, hey Fitz, I want more NBA content. But yeah, we're not gonna waste any time. We're gonna get into the big news of the day. We're gonna talk about Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving today was traded to the Dallas Mavericks in a blockbuster trade. We know that Kyrie Irving, he requested a trade from Brooklyn on Thursday, and this thing really, a lot has happened over the last 72 hours. And one thing you guys will notice when I make NBA videos, I'm super passionate. NBA is my favorite sport, right? I love WWE, I love the NFL, but basketball has always been my number one. I played it growing up. I wasn't always the best player, but I'm super passionate about basketball, and I'm super passionate about the NBA. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I am a Kyrie Irving hater. I hate Kyrie Irving. I was born and raised here in Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm a Celtics fan, ride or die. I hated Kyrie Irving. I remember where I was when Kyrie got traded to the Celtics. I was playing basketball with my friends at the gym, and then we got the notification. And while everybody in the gym was excited, I was pissed because I loved Isaiah Thomas. And I didn't think Kyrie getting traded to the Celtics would work out, and it didn't. It didn't. He, had no great memories for us as a Celtic. I remember him being injured the first year he was here. That was the year that we almost made it to the NBA Finals, and we lost to LeBron and the Cavs. And then the next year, we got beat in 5 in the semifinals by the Bucks, where Kyrie had one of the worst shooting performances of his playoff career. And that whole year, I remember the beginning of the year when Kyrie first said that he wanted to stay with the Celtics and be here long term, when he announced it in front of a sold-out TD Garden before a preseason game. And then that whole year, how then slowly, he turned on us, and then even in the end, it felt like he just didn't give his all to the Celtics, and then he went to the Brooklyn Nets. He took KD, and there's a lot of things to talk about with this situation, which we'll get into. And all in all, it failed. I think this will go down as one of the biggest failures in NBA history. The whole KD Kyrie era, what lasted 4 seasons with absolutely nothing but failure. Nothing. And it's a whole up and down saga from, of course, them originally coming to, Brooklyn. KD tearing his ACL back when he was in Golden State. And then him and Kyrie finally are able to team up, and they get James Harden from the Rockets, right? They trade almost everything to get James Harden, and then Kyrie in the playoffs, KD got all 3 of them were really hurt. Harden had the hamstring. Kyrie got injured. KD was trying to carry the Nets on his back and almost got them to the conference finals with that shot over Giannis, but that failed. And then the next season, right, James Harden, demands a trade from Brooklyn, and they gets traded to Philly. They bring in Ben Simmons, who has all the mental issues and the injuries and all the excuses in the world not to play, right? And then they get swept by the Celtics, and what Chris Broussard would say was the closest sweep ever, but they get absolutely destroyed by the Celtics. And then this year, and I know I'm missing some things in there, right? I'm missing the bubble, right, where Kyrie didn't want to go to the bubble and try to lead his own revolt. I'm missing when Kyrie needed a break from basketball because of the riots at the Capitol. When Kyrie didn't want to get vaccinated, the whole drama that happened a couple months ago with the documentary and the anti-Semitic and all that. Right? There's so many drama after drama, situation after situation. He's the biggest distraction in basketball. He's one of the biggest distractions in all of American sports, if we're being honest with ourselves. And I don't care how talented he is, he's a distraction to any team he's on. And that's why I'm glad that he somebody say, oh, you wish Kyrie was still on the Celtics because of his talent. No, I don't. Him being on the Celtics, I think, kind of hurt the development of Tatum and Brown all those years ago because he wasn't a leader. He had already won a title, right? And he had played with one of the greatest players ever in LeBron, who's going to break the scoring record this week, most likely, if he doesn't get injured or something crazy doesn't happen, right? He's going to break the scoring record. He basically a guy who at a young age had all the success, won a ring, hit one of the biggest shots in NBA history, comes over to the Celtics and does absolutely nothing for Tatum and Brown. Nothing. I'm surprised that he still has a good relationship with those guys, but he did absolutely nothing for their development. He hurt it. He didn't help it. And, why do you think we boo him out of the building every time he comes to Boston? We literally hate this man. Literally. And he's been nothing but a cancer to every team that he's been on. And that's not the statement. That's a fact. That's a fact. Right? And that leads me right into today's news. The Mavericks trade. All right? And look, I know that Lakers fans are unhappy, but there's been a lot of reports all day. It's not like the Kyrie trade happened. That was the only news. There's been so much news about this trade all day. We've been learning about other deals that other teams put out there, like the Suns. The Suns made an offer, which we'll talk about a little bit later. The Lakers did put a pretty good trade package together, but the Nets chose to ignore the Lakers for a specific reason, because they didn't want to appeal to Kyrie's needs and Kyrie's desires, which I actually congratulate the Nets for doing that, for not letting Kyrie get what he wants. Because literally, with everything that's happened these last couple of years, Kyrie has thought that no matter how much drama, no matter how much trouble he causes, that he can still do whatever he wants. He wanted a contract extension. Right? He wanted a fully guaranteed contract extension for 4 years, close to $200 million, even though everybody in the league knows that he's the most untrustworthy star possibly of all time. You literally can't trust him. When Stephen A. Smith goes on First Take and he says, I would only pay Kyrie Irving max dollars year by year, he's serious. I would do the same thing. You can't give this guy a fully guaranteed contract for any length of time because you don't know what trouble he's going to cause. He's always going to cause something else. There's never a time where Kyrie can just go out there and play basketball. No. And then that brings, like I said, there's so many layers to this because people are idiots, right? So the documentary thing happened in November, right? Kyrie came back. All right, and he's at, the last 2.5 months, he's been on his best behavior, right? And he's been balling. He's been balling. No, nothing. No drama, nothing. Probably Kyrie playing maybe the best basketball of his career, especially with KD out, right? And he was helping keep the Nets afloat without, their best player in Kevin Durant. But it's like, oh, no, he's 2.5 months, 73 days, right? It just wasn't enough for Kyrie. It was just like, oh, well, I'm bored. Let me go up and stir trouble. My name hasn't been in the news lately. Let me go cause trouble with a trade request. It's like literally every single time something happens with Kyrie and he comes back, it's like, you're just waiting for the next domino to drop. It's like people don't remember that the Kyrie documentary situation just happened 2.5 months ago. Everyone's saying, oh, look how good Kyrie's been the last 2 months. All right, Kyrie's been good for 2 months. What about his entire career when it's been drama after drama after drama, situation after situation after situation? And this is a guy who swears that he's smarter than everybody else in the league. He swears that he's smarter than everybody else. Oh, the earth is flat. The earth is flat, right? Oh, but everybody else, 99.9% of the rest of the world knows that the earth is round on a sphere. Kyrie thinks that he's up here with his intellect and we're all down here. But he always proves that his intellect is not that much. It's not that much above ours. He's not that smart at all. And and literally, I know I'm ranting here, and for my WWE fans, this is almost like a Monday Night Raw review. But literally, when I tell you I can't stand Kyrie, I can't stand the guy. On the basketball court, yes, he is a all-time talent, one of the best point guards ever. But this is what's the difference between him and Steph Curry. Curry never causes distractions. The only time Curry's not available is literally because he's injured. Like right now, Curry's going to be out a couple weeks, because of that leg injury he sustained last night. And I hate that because the Warriors have been struggling all year, and not having Steph for any amount of time puts them in danger. But yes, Curry, top 10 player of all time, arguably the best point guard ever. You can have that conversation. Right? Never, ever causes a distraction for his team. The only time he's ever, not available is because he can't play. He's injured. But Kyrie, it's always there's always something else. It's always something that's not related to basketball. It's drama, it's money, it's his ego. It's always something with this guy. It's always something. And I don't care how talented he is on the basketball. I don't care how many great finishing moves and dribble moves and great shots he does. The guy is a cancer to any locker room he steps into. It's really that simple. So let's get into the trade itself, right? Because I could go off about Kyrie for 2 hours. Like this was a WWE review. But let's get into the trade itself. So Kyrie, So Kyrie requested the trade on Thursday, right? I thought they were gonna make us wait probably till like Wednesday to actually get the news that Kyrie was traded. I thought this was gonna drag out all week up until the trade deadline, which is this Thursday. Luckily, it didn't. But on a Sunday afternoon, of course, when everyone's enjoying the weekend, all the big sportscasters, of course, they don't work on the weekends, right? And the Super Bowl is not until next Sunday. Imagine if this happened on Super Bowl Sunday. Like that would be crazy. What a news day that would be. But on a Sunday where, Stephen A and Skip and everybody else has the weekend off, right? This is when this news dropped. I was literally in the gym. I was literally on the gym doing chest flies. It was chest day for me at the gym. So I was literally doing my chest workout when I got the notification. And then literally everybody in my gym, was reacting at the same time. Because we all had them woes alerts on. We all got that woes bomb. My phone blew up exactly when the trade went through. And I wasn't shocked. Because literally when you looked at the people that could have landed Kyrie, it was the Lakers, it was the Mavericks, it was the Suns, and then you could say maybe an outside chance, either the Bulls or the Miami Heat. But it was mainly those three teams, the Mavs, the Suns, and the Lakers, that had the best chance to get Kyrie, right? The only way I would have been surprised is if Kyrie got to the Lakers. Because you knew how much Nets ownership didn't like Kyrie, right? Because of all the drama that he started, and they weren't going to give him they were going to do everything they could not to give him what he wanted. The Lakers would have had to send a blown away offer for, Kyrie to say yes, right? Or for the Nets to say yes, not Kyrie, right? So when he got traded to Matt, I wasn't surprised. All right, I felt like if Kyrie was going to get traded, it was going to be to the Mavs or the Suns. If Kyrie wasn't going to get traded, I thought it was probably likely that he would have been sat for the rest of the season. Or the only way that he would have been sat is if KD said, no, I need Kyrie out here, right? Because we're going to talk about KD in a little bit. But the trade happened, and he got traded to the Mavs. And I have the trade right here. The trade was Spencer Dinwiddie, Finney Smith, first round pick, 2 second-round picks, right? With Kyrie, and they didn't really say this to Lair, but Markieff Morris, right? And I looked at it, and I was like, Okay, so they got the picks, right? And of course, you get Spencer Dinwiddie back, who he's played in Brooklyn before. He's played with KD before, right? And you got Finney Smith, who is okay, forward. He's not anything special. He averages about 9 points a game. But all right, you get Dinwiddie, who can actually he's a solid guard. He's not an all-star guard, but he's a guy that can go off on any night, right? And you get Finney Smith, which I think on a team surrounding KD, it can still be a contending team. I think their ceiling is literally maybe the second round. I wouldn't be surprised if they get beaten in the first round, but their ceiling is literally the second round as constructed, right? Even with KD at his best and, Ben Simmons, if Ben Simmons chose, the Mavs know how to play basketball again. Because Ben Simmons has been nothing but a failure. Nothing but a failure on the net. The guy is literally stealing money away from the net every single day. Because every single day there's something else with him, right? He refuses to shoot on the basketball court. He refuses to learn how to shoot. Plays no aggressiveness, just is out there stealing money. He'll give you rebounds and assists, but he literally refuses to score. He's terrified to shoot free throws. And literally every single day, he's injured, right? Or mentally he can't play. I think half of it is not even real, to be honest. I feel like he's literally doing whatever he can to steal money. I really do think that. He'll do anything not to play. I think Simmons is literally killing his career, with each passing day. I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Simmons was out of the league in a couple years. The guy literally does, to me, my opinion, he doesn't care about basketball at all. But, but whatever, back to it. So you have Kate, with the pieces that the Nets got, it's not a bad trade at all. They get picks, right? And they get some quality players, and if they choose to, they can either try to save those picks to potentially get a player to team KD up with, or if they choose to trade KD, because you never know. Now KD could request a trade, right? KD, you can get a little haul in for KD, no matter if that's with the Suns, no matter if that's with the Heat, no matter if that's somewhere else, right? If you trade KD, you can get a bunch more picks, you can get more players, so at least you would have somewhere to start a rebuild, because that feels like where it's going. But you can also use those picks to get another star to potentially team up with KD, but literally we don't know how we haven't heard any news about how KD's reacting to the trade. No news whatsoever, right? And I don't feel bad for KD because you literally left the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry, to play with Kyrie. So I don't care if KD's salty, if he's pissed. That's KD's fault. You should have never teamed up with Kyrie to begin with. And I knew from day one it would never work out. And you literally never even got to the conference finals, let alone the NBA finals with Kyrie. So I don't feel bad for KD at all. Anyway, and KD, cut your hair, you disgusting. But anyway, but on the Mavs side, of course, right? They finally get a star to team Luka up with. And, for them, I think it is a good move. Because like I said, it takes a lot of pressure off Luka. Luka has one of the highest usage ratings of all time. The guy, literally, their offense is Luka. Without Luka, that team is not even a playoff team. It's literally Luka come down the court, Luka either playing iso ball or Luka playing pick and roll to get his assist. And Luka's amazing, but that's their offense. Luka has the ball 80 to 90% of the time. Now with Kyrie, you have another guy who can handle the ball. In my opinion, what you need to do is you need to have Luka stay at the 1, Kyrie be at the 2. I don't think it worked with Kyrie being the 1 and Luka being the 2, right? Yeah, I know people might say, oh, but Kyrie's shorter. Kyrie's not going to be able to guard 2 guards. Look, right away, the Mavericks are not going to be a good defensive team. Honestly, your hope is for the Mavs is that with Kyrie and Luka, that you're going to outscore whoever you face every single night. You're going to see a lot of 110, 115, 120 point games with these two. That's what I think you're going to see a lot of close games as well. Because, let's be honest, Kyrie and Luka are not good defenders. They're not, right? Kyrie is small. And, if you decide to play Luka at the 1 and have Kyrie at the 2, people are going to take advantage of Kyrie. They already take advantage of Kyrie at the 1. But honestly, that's probably your best bet. Luka needs to be the ball-dominant player. Luka needs the ball in his hand. I think Kyrie, it will work a lot more better with Kyrie off the ball. And the thing is, we kind of seen Kyrie off the ball already a little bit. Because remember when James Harden was there with Kyrie in the Nets, Harden played the 1 a little bit more than Kyrie did. So I think it's better if you just let Luka play the 1 and then have Kyrie play the 2. Plus, it's Luka's team. Kyrie's coming on Luka's team. This is not Kyrie's team at all. It's Luka's team. The Mavs did this for Luka. So I think of what message are you sending if you have Kyrie come in and he's the ball handler all of a sudden? No, Luka needs the ball in his hands. The offense flows through him. It is going to be very interesting because both Kyrie and Luka are high usage rating players, right? But I think it's going to be a pretty awesome show to watch Kyrie and Luka. You know, literally, there's going to be nights where Luka might go for 40 and Kyrie might go for 35. And there might be nights where Kyrie goes for 45 and Luka goes for 30 with a triple-double. And, you know, and who knows? Luka might get more triple-doubles because of this. Because say if Kyrie's doing his ISO thing, Luka could just go and get rebounds. Because we know Luka's 6'7" point guard. There's not going to be guards that are going to stop him from getting rebounds. So, who knows? This might make Luka's stats even more crazier than they already are. I do think this will probably mean that you won't see Luka getting 50 points as often as he does, because he'll have a second scorer that can score just as good as he can. But still, Luka is still going to be Luka. You know, at the end of games, Luka's going to be the guy to take the game-winning shots. Or unless he gets double-teamed or something, and that would be stupid to leave Kyrie open. But, of course, I expect Luka to be the one to have the ball in his hand at, you know, the end of games, because that's the way it is. It's his team, right? But, you know, still, like I said, from a defensive perspective, it's not good. You're doing this move for the offense. You're doing this move because you're hoping on 9 out of 10 times that Luka and Kyrie are going to, you know, outscore the other team. And then you also, of course, you have Christian Wood, you have Tim Hardaway Jr., so you have other pieces that can score. The problem was, of course, none of those players before were on the level of Luka. That's why I do think it's a good move, because you're bringing in a scorer that can score just as good as Luka can. So it takes pressure off of Luka. It will be interesting to see, you know, because up to this point, you know, the conversation has always been, oh, Luka is so good, right, that he has to score for his team. He was always alone, even when he had Porzingis, right? Porzingis wasn't nowhere near Luka's level. Porzingis isn't even an all-star player. I don't think Porzingis has ever made an all-star team. Porzingis is a good player, but he's not the all-star that people expected him to be, right? So Luka's always had to carry his team. Now that he has somebody like Kyrie that can score just as much as he can, what's going to be interesting is, you know, will Luka still just care about his stats, or will he care about winning? Because you're not making this move for, you know, the Mavs just to get to the second round. This is a move you're making because you're trying to win the NBA Finals, right? Mark Cuban makes this move because he believes that this is what needs to be done for the Mavericks to win another championship, since they haven't won one since 2011 with Dirk. So that's the interesting part. That's the interesting part. You're not doing this to just make it to Western Conference Finals. You're doing this to win the Western Conference Finals and make it to the NBA Finals, right? The question is, does this make the Mavs the favorite in the West? I need to see it first. I don't think so. The West is wide open. There really is no clear-cut favorite. Yes, I know most people would say either the Nuggets or the Grizzlies, right? But of course, you still have to think about the Pelicans. You have to always consider the Warriors, because for the Warriors, they don't even need home court. The Warriors just need to get into the playoffs because they have that championship pedigree and they're that dangerous. The Warriors can win on the road or at home, even though, of course, the Warriors have not won on the road this season, but you know what I mean. And of course, that's why the Steph Curry injury is so big, because the Warriors have been a 500 team all year, even when Steph has been healthy. If Steph's gone for 2-3 weeks and you start losing games, You don't want to fall into that zone where you're a playing team, right? Where you're fighting just to get into the play-in. You want to be in that top 6 spot where you know that you won't have to play a playing game and you know you'll be in the playoffs, right? But I definitely think this does help the Mavs' chances in the West. This becomes a lot more interesting. Now I feel like it's more of a 5-team scramble. Warriors, Nuggets, Grizzlies, Mavs, and Pelicans. Not in any specific order, but those are the teams I would watch out for. Those are the 5 I would say contenders, real legit contenders in the West. But there's really no favorite. If you have to take a favorite, maybe you say, maybe the Nuggets, right? But there's really no favorite. If I had to take a team right now, I'm still picking the Warriors just because I feel like there's really no team in the West that can beat them in a 7-game series when they're completely healthy. When it's Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, and Looney, right? Of course, and then you have Jordan Poole. And they're all healthy. I don't think there's any team that can beat them in a 7-game series in the West, right? I do think the Celtics and the Bucks, probably whoever gets out of the East is probably winning the NBA Finals. The Celtics and the Bucks are just on a whole nother level. But, still, in terms of the Western Conference, when the Warriors are fully healthy, I just don't think there's a team that can beat them in a 7-game series. So I don't think this makes the Mavericks favorites, but I do think it does help their chances a lot. This is a move that they had to make. But here's another thing we have to consider. Will Kyrie resign? I don't know. I don't know if Kyrie's going to resign. The reason why is because, Kyrie wanted to go to the Lakers. Right, it seems that Kyrie wants to play with LeBron again. Like I said, I don't trust Kyrie. I don't trust anything that comes out of his mouth. I don't care how good he talks about LeBron in interviews. I don't trust Kyrie Irving. The guy's a liar. Literally, he says one thing 1 second, and then the next second he changes his mind. So so don't blame me for not believing Kyrie when he says, "Oh, I want to play with LeBron again." All right, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be a skeptic. So, will Kyrie resign? I don't know. Based on the reports, Kyrie is ecstatic to be going to the Mavericks, right? And right now he's supposed to be flying to Dallas on Monday to get his physical, and then most likely Wednesday he'll make his debut with the team when they're supposed to play the Clippers. Which, that could be a really good game. Kyrie and Luka versus, Kawhi and PG. And I believe Kawhi and PG are healthy right now. So, like I said, that could be a really fun game. Right before the All-Star break. But, I don't know if Kyrie resigns. I think a lot of it will have to do with how good do the Mavs do in the playoffs. Right? If they make a deep run, if they get to the conference finals or the NBA finals, I do think Kyrie, definitely, I think there's a good chance he will resign. But, right now, I still think that this could potentially be, and this could be bad for the Mavericks, right? You give up, first-round picks, second-round picks, and just, make this big bet, this big gamble on a player that's untrustworthy. And at the end of the day, he might walk for nothing. I could 100% see Kyrie leaving Dallas in free agency to try to get to the Lakers. I do think there's a good possibility it could happen. If the Mavs have success in the playoffs, I could see Kyrie re-signing. Right? But the thing about it is, we know Kyrie wants a long-term deal. He wants a long-term deal with guaranteed money because the reason why is Kyrie wants guaranteed money so that no matter what happens, no matter what trouble he causes, he'll still be paid. And that's the reason why the Nets didn't want to re-sign him. That's why no team really wants to commit long-term because there's never any guarantees with Kyrie. You never know what trouble he's going to cause next. That's one of the reasons why he wants a long-term deal. So that he knows when he does cause trouble, he'll still be getting paid. So, I don't know. And, Mark Cuban, right? One of the smartest minds, not only in basketball, but in the business world, right? We know how great a business guy Mark Cuban is. He's on Shark Tank for a reason. He's not going to put up with that nonsense from Kyrie. We know that for a fact. So, I don't know. I definitely there's gonna be discussions with Mark and Kyrie. I it'll be interesting to see what comes out of those conversations. But I do think there's a chance he could resign. But I think a lot of it's gonna depend on how him and Luka get along, and if the Mavs make a deep run in the playoffs. Like I said, I don't know. I just don't know. If it's gonna happen. So we'll see. We'll see. Next thing, I already kind of talked about this earlier with the Nets, right? Now the thing is, does KD, does he bring back that trade request? Remember in the offseason, KD did ask for a trade, and they did try to find a trade partner, and there was really nothing there. There was nothing there. And remember, the Nets didn't even have to honor that trade request. Because remember, KD had just signed like a 4-year extension. So the Nets could have easily just said, you're under contract, right? We don't have to trade you at all. You're going to play for us regardless of if you want out or not. And we know that KD's not the type of person. Even though KD is not a leader, he is more of a follower. Which kind of sucks that, a guy of his talent, one of the best players of all time, doesn't have any backbone, right? But there was no chance, I thought, that KD was going to skip training camp or hold out for a trade request. I think KD loves the game too much. KD, even though he's not a leader, he does, he does lead on the basketball court. He leaves it out on the court every single time. He just wants to go out and hoop. That's who he is. So I do think there's a chance KD does ask for another trade, right? I do think the Nets will do everything in their power to try to build a team that they could go for a title with. It's not, like I said, right, with Dinwiddie and Smith, that's not enough for the Nets to be a favorite in the East. It's not, because you don't know what you're going to get from Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons hasn't done anything to show that, he's going to be a leader. Ben Simmons, I don't know if we call him wash or just a stealer or like just a thief, but I don't know. But I think the Nets will do everything in their power to try to make another move this week to get somebody else to help KD. Because that team right now, you're not beating the Celtics. You haven't beat the Celtics in forever, right? And, you're not beating the Bucks. I don't even think you're beating the Sixers. So, I don't know. I do think the Nets will do whatever they can to try to make a move to help KD, right? But as of right now, I just don't know what that move is, but we'll see. We still have 4 days till the trade deadline. There will be more moves to be made. Does KD ask to be traded? I could see that more likely happening in the offseason. Yes, there are reports that the Suns, they do want to pursue KD, which I think they should, right? KD on the Suns with Devin Booker or, with CB3 and Devin Booker. I don't think that the Suns could get KD without having to give up CP3 or DeAndre Ayton or somebody like that. But who knows? Yeah, who knows? But I like I said, I could see KD, asking for a trade, but I think it's more likely to happen in the offseason than now. If I'm being 100% honest, I think this is KD's last year in Brooklyn. I think the Nets will do whatever they can to try to build a team with the guys they have. But I just don't think they're enough. I think the Nets are gonna, struggle going into the second half of the season. I think they're either a first or second round exit, and we just see KD just ask for a trade, and then then they honor that. Like I said, there is, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if KD got traded in the next couple of days, but I think it's unlikely. But who knows? Watch. Then Monday morning we hear that KD, asks for a trade. Like I said, if KD does end up leaving Brooklyn and they don't get another star there, what a failure that is for the Nets. With everything you've done the last 4 or 5 years to try to build a championship ring, Kyrie ruins it. Of course, yes, KD has his hand in it, and of course, management and Steve Nash and all this other stuff. But I put the blame on Kyrie. Kyrie was the one that wanted to come to Brooklyn with KD, and at almost every step, Kyrie has had some hand in the trouble that Brooklyn has had. No matter if it's drama, no matter what it is. You know, from when you had James Harden and for the last 2 seasons when the Nets were the title favorites. And, you know, James Harden just didn't want to play with Kyrie and literally had to demand a trade to get to Philly. And then, you know, Ben Simmons coming in and being a complete failure this far. Kyrie having no loyalty towards KD at all, right? This would end up being one of the biggest failures in NBA history, where you have 3 generational top stars in their prime, right? James Harden more towards the end of his prime, but Kyrie still in his prime, KD near the end of his prime, right? And being title favorites and not even getting to the conference finals as a unit. What a failure that would be. Really. And, you know, it just shows that's what happens when you let the stars run the asylum. That's what happens when you let the stars run the asylum, right? Everything from Kyrie saying that they didn't need a coach and all that, the undermining of Steve Nash from the get-go. It's just, it's one of the biggest disasters in NBA history. And I feel the most bad for Brooklyn Nets fans, really. The Nets fans didn't deserve this. They didn't deserve this at all. They didn't do anything wrong. This was all the players and management. And the Nets fans have had to sit through that all season long. Yeah, I feel really bad for those diehard Brooklyn Nets fans, wherever they are. But yeah, like I said, I think KD will probably ask for a trade at the end of the season. But he could get traded this week. I just feel like it's pretty unlikely at this point. Moving on, of course, to the Lakers. I can't believe we've got this much into the podcast and we haven't talked about them. But the Lakers, there was many reports. It was about what happened with the Lakers, right? Kyrie could still get to the Lakers. We'll just have to wait to the offseason, unless Kyrie agrees to some kind of extension before that. But, a lot of people were angry at the Lakers earlier today because with LeBron, who is 38, playing still as a top 10 player, right? With the crazy numbers. What has LeBron been averaging like 39 and 8? At age 38, I know LeBron's not in his prime anymore, right? But still, the numbers that LeBron has been putting up has been insane. And he's about to break the scoring record this week. So, with the way LeBron has been playing, AD just got healthy again, right? Westbrook, has been decent off the bench as a 6-man. The roster construction has been bad for the Lakers, but Kyrie kind of fixes all that. You bring in a star guard, right? You instantly have probably the best trio in the league, and you become probably the favorites in the West. Maybe even the favorites to win the title. But, there was a lot of people that were angry that the Lakers didn't do more to get Kyrie, right? And there was reports earlier that, yes, the Lakers offered a first-round pick and Westbrook, right? But that they didn't want to use Austin Reeves, or they didn't want to offer multiple picks. But, like I said, there's been stories coming out all day about this situation. And we've learned that actually the Lakers were willing. Chris Haynes said earlier today on NBA TV, earlier tonight, that he did. The Lakers did offer up their picks. But the Nets said no. And like I said, I cannot be mad at the Nets at all. The Nets, literally, they were sick of Kyrie's nonsense. Literally sick of his drama. And they were like, all right, we'll trade you and we'll try to do what's best for us, but we're not going to send you to where you want to go. We're not going to make it that easy for you. After all the headaches that you've caused this organization, we're not going to just give you what you want. And we know that Kyrie wanted to go to the Lakers. That's where he's wanted to go since day one. But the Nets were like, no. It was reported earlier by Chris Hayes, that the Lakers did offer up their picks with Russell Westbrook, and the Nets chose no. One of the reasons for that was because, one, the Nets never wanted Russell Westbrook. You didn't know how KD was going to respond to playing with Westbrook again, right? After, all the drama that happened at the end of their time together in OKC, after all these years. How many years has it been, right? What, like 7 seasons? Well, this feels like for a while. It's been close to a decade, but what, 7, 8 seasons since KD originally left OKC? I don't think KD we don't know if KD would want to play with Westbrook again. The Nets never wanted him to begin with. But, of course, it was the picks. Because with those picks, having picks, it means a lot of power. Because picks are usually, the biggest thing when it comes to trading for superstars. Right? Yes, those picks could lead to a future star when it comes to the draft. But mostly you want to have first round and second round picks when you want to go make big trades for NBA stars. When you're in win now mode and you want a star, you always get the picks. And we've seen that how many times with Maverick comes from Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving, Paul George, the list goes on and on. All the NBA superstars have been traded over the last couple seasons. What is the common denominator? The picks. The picks. Sometimes the picks matter more than the current players that are traded in the deal. You want to have your picks, right? The more first round picks you have, the more power you have. So the Lakers were willing to give up those picks that they've had the last 2 seasons that they didn't want to use. But the Nets didn't want them because they were salty, right? Which I don't blame them at all for being. They did not. They wanted to do everything in their power to keep Kyrie from going to the Lakers, right? And they're saying, hey, if Kyrie, you want to go to the Lakers, you're going to have to wait till this offseason. You're not getting what you want. And even still, you have no idea because as great as LeBron is playing, even if they get Kyrie next year, LeBron's going to be 39, right? And we never know. LeBron is more injury prone than he's ever been. As great as LeBron is when he's healthy, he does get a lot more injured now. It's not like early in his career, LeBron fought through injuries or he just didn't get injured. He was almost always available. But now LeBron gets injured. These last 3-4 seasons, he's had leg problems. He's had foot problems. He's older now. As great as he is athletically, his body's not as durable. And Anthony Davis is probably the most injury-prone star we've ever seen. So even if you get Kyrie in the offseason, you don't know what the roster is going to look like, and there's no guarantees that LeBron's going to keep playing like this forever. He's going to be 39. At some point, he is going to age, and he is going to decline. That's just the way it is. So the Lakers offered the picks. So Lakers fan, you can't get mad at the Lakers management. You can't get mad at Rob Pelinka. The Nets didn't want the picks. They didn't want Kyrie going to the Lakers. You would have to give the Nets a deal that they literally couldn't refuse. Literally couldn't refuse to get Kyrie. Probably it would have to been something like Westbrook, Austin Reeves, multiple first round picks and maybe a second round pick to make that trade work. That's probably what you would have had to do. And I don't think the Lakers were willing to give up that much. They may have been willing to give up the picks, but they weren't going to give all that away for Kyrie Irving, right? So, sorry, and this is one thing I've said with my friends all the time, and I'll tell you guys this. People are more want to see the Lakers lose than help the Lakers win. That is just a fact. LeBron tweeted out something that is trending on Twitter right now. Maybe it's me. And, of course, everybody is probably going to think that he's probably coming to the trade. It's a cryptic tweet, but of course everyone's gonna assume that it has to do with the Nets trade, right? That's and unless LeBron comes out and explains that tweet, that's the way it's gonna be. Everyone's gonna assume that was just LeBron's response to the trade from earlier today. I've said this before, and I'll say it here on the podcast. The Nets, or not the Nets, people want to beat LeBron. They don't want to help LeBron win. As great as LeBron is, and of course LeBron's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time. Some people may say he is the GOAT. In my opinion, it will always be MJ. But either way, right? People, in recent years, there's a pleasure and there's a satisfaction to many of beating LeBron. That's just it. That's not because people hate LeBron. LeBron's respected worldwide, but people want to beat LeBron. People don't want to help LeBron win. We've seen that with the Lakers' inability to get stars to LA with LeBron being this is what LeBron's 5th year there. And of course, they won the ring in the bubble, but you look at it like what outside, of course, with the AD trade and Westbrook, who's no longer in his prime. Right? The Lakers have failed on every single level to bring stars to LA. To play with LeBron James of all people on the Lakers, outside the Celtics, the most historic franchise in NBA history. What do you want us to say? What do you want us to say? They gave up the picks. They were willing to trade Westbrook. They were willing to trade the 2027 and the 2029 pick. And the Nets said no. What does that tell you? So for everybody earlier today that was complaining about, the Lakers just won't give enough up. That's not it. People just want to beat LeBron. Simple as that. Of course, like I said earlier, yes, the Nets, part of it was the Nets didn't want to let Kyrie get his way. But also, there's a lot of people that don't want to see LeBron win. And I'm not a LeBron fan. I respect LeBron, but I am not a LeBron fan. But I respect the guy. But that's just a fact. That's just a fact. Oh, man. I don't know if there's anything else to say. Well, LeBron could say, maybe it's me. Yeah, yes, partially it is you. People don't want to help you win, LeBron. People are like, despite your greatness, people are like, LeBron, you've had your time. You've won your 4 rings. You're one of the all-time greats. But we want to beat you. We don't want to win with you. It's that simple. Chris Haynes said it. He said, Brooklyn Nets received Lakers' proposal that did include teams' 2 first-round picks. And another thing, the Suns offered a deal as well. Honestly, this might be... This might be more interesting than the Lakers, getting their trade proposal with their picks denied. The Suns made a crazy offer for Kyrie. The Suns offered Jay Crowder, Chris Paul, and other unspecified picks. That's the trade. If I'm the Nets, I probably would have took that. They took Spencer Dinwiddie, like I said, who is a good guard, but he's not Chris Paul, right? And Darius Smith. With Chris Paul, yes, I know Chris Paul's older, but when Chris Paul's at his best, he's still one of the best guards in the league. Chris Paul's not on the level, of course, of like Steph or Dame or Luka, right, or any of these guys anymore. But still, Chris Paul, we've seen the guy when he's 100% healthy. The guy is a stud and one of the best point guards of all time. And I think watching Chris Paul and KD on the basketball court would be great. The way Chris Paul would run the offense and probably set KD up, that would be great to watch. Then you get Jay Crowder, who I think Jay Crowder and KD have played together before, but I might be wrong. Doesn't matter. But Jay Crowder, he's a guy that stretches the floor. He can shoot threes, and he's a pretty good defender. So I don't know what picks the Suns offered. I would hope that they were first round picks, but that's honestly the trade that surprises me. I'm not surprised that the Nets denied the Lakers' proposal. I am surprised that the Nets denied the Suns' proposal because Chris Paul, you get a guard back. Yes, I know Chris Paul's a little bit older, but still, Chris Paul is still Chris Paul. You get Jay Crowder. So you get a playmaker and a shot creator in Chris Paul. You get a defender and a 3-point shooter to help stretch the floor in Jay Crowder, and you get picks. I don't know why the Nets chose not to take that. I don't know. And here's the thing: we know that the Suns are gonna go after KD. We know the Suns want KD. So what's to say they don't offer the same trade for KD here in the next couple days? Maybe that's why the Nets didn't, accept the trade. Who knows? Maybe the Nets saw the offer that they got from the Mavericks, and they're like, all right, we're gonna decline this trade from the Suns, because if the Suns want KD and or say KD asks for a trade and they honor it, right? The Nets can be like, okay, the Nets can be, okay, Suns, remember that trade you tried to give us for Kyrie before? Why don't you offer that same trade for, KD with just a little bit more, and we'll give it to you. Maybe that's what the Nets are doing, which I think would not be bad on their part. They get more first-round picks, and, you get KD to the Suns. And then of course you get Chris Paul, and you have a decent team around you. It's not like the Nets have scrubs. You have Dinwiddie, you have Jay Crowder, you would have Claxton, you have Steph Curry. You still have Ben Simmons, but well, you have TJ Warren. You still have a decent team that could at least contend a little bit out in the East. You're not going to win anything, but at least you'll have a decent team. But still, I don't know. I don't know. But I do find it surprising that the Suns or that the Nets did they declined that trade. Because the Suns offer is a lot. I find that a lot more interesting than what the Lakers did. Lastly, the Clippers. The Clippers also had a trade as well. I'm trying to find here, but I think it was something like TJ Mann, some picks, and there was another player. But the Clippers had a pretty good deal as well for Kyrie, and the Nets declined it. And the thing is, none of those trades included PG or Kawhi. So, and I know, yes, Kawhi, you never know if he's going to be available. PG does get injured a lot too. But when healthy, that might be a better trio than Kyrie, LeBron, and AD. So I'm kind of surprised that the Nets also didn't, look more into that deal with the Clippers. But I don't know. I'm going to try to find that trade real quick. See what they offered. Yeah, they offered, here it is. The Clippers offered Terrence Mann, Luke Kennard. Terrence Mann, he's a good athletic guard. Terrence Mann, Terrence Mann, who's a good guard, right? Very athletic and can shoot a little bit. Luke Kennard, who definitely is a very good shooter, and picks. I don't know. I just find that very interesting. Very, very interesting. Here we go. Luke Kennard, Terrence Mann, a future first-round pick, and 2 first-round pick swaps. O'Connor noted that the additional salary would have needed to be included in the deal to acquire Irving, but that the core of the package would have been Mann, Kennard, and draft compensation. I still think the Suns' offer getting denied is the most interesting of all of them, but I think the Clippers had a decent chance to get him as well with this package. But I don't know, but still, I don't think it's over. I think if KD asks for a trade, the Nets or the Clippers and the Suns are both going to try to get KD. And I think they both have, a good chance as any to land KD. So I would still keep an eye on those teams. Even though they didn't get Kyrie, I still think they have decent chance to get KD if KD asks for a trade, either now or in the offseason, right? But still, at the end of the day, Kyrie is now in Dallas. He's going to Dallas. He's going to team up with Luka, and it'll be interesting. Can Kyrie keep himself out of trouble and make things work with Luka? Because right now, this is a team that should be a favorite now in the Mavericks. Not the favorite, in my opinion, but they should be a favorite to contend. So, I don't know. You guys let me know. Let me know what you guys think. Will the Mavericks win a title with Kyrie and Luka? Will it work out, or will Kyrie get himself in trouble again and cause more drama? All right? Or is this just a half-year thing for Kyrie to do now and then get to just to get to the Lakers in the offseason? Who knows? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But other than that, That's about all I got for you guys today. Leave a like on this video if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel by hitting the bell next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Thank you guys as always for the love and support. Let me know if you guys want more NBA content like this. Like I said, I am down to keep doing these types of videos. So let me know. Let me know what you guys think. But outside of that, I'll see you guys later. Stay safe and healthy, y'all.